Vatican Observatory, run by Vatican astronomers in the state of Arizona. Learn why these Vatican astronomers are involved with Project Lucifer, using a special infrared camera attached to the most powerful telescope on Earth that peers into deep space, searching for aliens and UFOs.
Initial instrumentation includes twin blue and red cameras for wide-field imaging, as well as nulling interferometry capabilities to spot distant planets, advanced spectroscopy devices, and a near-infrared imager and spectrograph called Lucifer.
Okay, I promised you we would find out this great Catholic astronomer, the #1, is operating with something called Project Lucifer. What is that?
Well, up on top of Mount Graham in Arizona, there's an observatory complex. It consists of 3 very high-powered telescopes. One is the Vatican Advanced Technology Telescope. There's a radio telescope, and then there's one called the Large Binocular Telescope. This is the most powerful telescope in the world. In fact, they told us they can get better images of space than the Hubble Space Telescope can. Now, attached to this telescope is an infrared camera named Lucifer, which is really a kind of an odd name for a camera. And from the information that we gathered, this thing was named by the Max Planck Institute and some German astronomers. But the Vatican is part of this conglomerate up there, that they're all working together. Now, what this instrument's used for is astrobiology, for looking for exoplanets, looking for other worlds. And the infrared spectrum is also very useful for seeing things that can't be seen with the naked eye. And many UFO researchers have noted that you can see a lot of ships and entities that you normally can't see.
Tell me about what the Vatican astronomers are telling you, or what others, experts, I mean, you had a research team.
Right.
Tell me a few of the things they're telling you.
Well, first of all, the day that we spent on Mount Graham, the entire day there, we had the Jesuits speaking to us face to face. We also had systems engineers. It was astonishing, the access that they gave us. And one of the things we found amazing in the use of the Lucifer device and even the other telescopes is how commonly the astronomers spoke of UFOs. We were just taken back by the fact that it was almost a nuisance to them that there are so many.
I have to tell you, UFOs, I mean, I think that's like science fiction, to be quite candid with you. But I told my staff about this interview, and one of the staff members said when he was 12 or 13 years old, he saw a UFO, and they visited him and talked to him. I mean, and that's just a small group of people. And statistics say 1 out of 2 people in America believe in UFOs, unidentified flying objects. And we're hearing now reports all over the world.
They had changed the whole storyline there. And this is what I was told. Watch to see if there's any of this many worlds stuff hidden in the language of this Pope's encyclical, because he is a many worlder, like most of the Jesuits are. This is crazy stuff, right?
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean, you want to cue the Twilight Zone theme music,
right? Exactly.
But these are some heavyweight people that believe this.
And this goes along with the observatory that you went to.
Right. Well,
that the Catholic Church owns the average person has no idea the Catholic Church owns the biggest observatory in the world, probably.
Well, they are part of an observation group. Who owns the observatory on the Mount Graham is the Vatican, it's NASA, it's Arizona State University, it's astronomy groups all around the world. But it was the Vatican that got with NASA to go up, and they literally forced themselves onto the. They had to do an in-run around environmental law to allow them to even build on that mountain. So somebody at the Vatican was deeply in the back pocket of the governor, because they bent rules that can't otherwise be bent to build on the top of that mountain. But after we came down, that's why there's a 3rd book on this. Well, I guess I'll have to come back at some time, maybe.
Yes.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
The 3rd book is called On the Path of the Immortals. Want to know why?
Why?
Because when we came down off the mountain, we thought we knew everything. Brother, we're patting ourselves on the back. We're King Kong and Godzilla all rolled into one. We got to go where no man has gone before. And then we get contacted by the Apache Nation. And one of them wants to let us know what we think we know about Mount Graham is only a very small part of the puzzle. In their belief system, Mount Graham is a gateway. It's a portal to another dimension. And that's why the Vatican wanted on the top of that mountain. And that's what they're observing in deep space. And Malachi Martin, remember in 1979, Art Bell's interviewing Father Malachi Martin, an insider of insider from the Vatican. And he says, Father, why did the Vatican force its way onto a mountain in Arizona, and why are they studying deep space? You know what his answer was? He said, because at the highest levels of the Vatican government, they know what is approaching the earth, and that it will be of the utmost importance in coming years. And furthermore, he put a 10-year timeline on it, and 10 years to the date, the Vatican called together an astronomy study week at the Pontifical Academy in Rome, the Pope's scientists, right? And they came together for one reason, to study the detection of alien life and its impact on religion and society. And 90 days later, when the oldest scientific body in the world, the Royal Society, came together, they came together for exactly the same reason, the detection of alien intelligence and the impact on society. These are the brainiest people in the world that came together right when Father Martin said this would become of importance. So something right now is sitting there. Something is sitting there. They think they have knowledge. In fact, the Lucifer device that they use on the top of Mount Graham.
That's what they call it.
Yeah. Is infrared.
Why would they name it Lucifer? That's pretty strange.
Yeah. Yeah, why would they? Is it because they think they titled it something they're using it to observe? Do they think they know something is coming?
So back to what the Vatican's interest in all of this, in Mount Graham being one of these holy sites, why did they want so badly to have an observatory pointed up on that particular spot?
Well, again, Malachi Martin says they were monitoring something, but Chris, tell them about the Vatican's church built into the side of the same mystical areas there in Sedona.
Okay, in Sedona, Arizona, one of the famous things that all the New Agers go to are these vortex sites. You know, like Cathedral Rock is one of them. I mean, they're all over. There's one, Airport Mesa, it's called. And these are supposedly sites that have a lot of earth energy, whatever that is, however you want to parse that. But apparently, you know, there's a lot of mystical energy that you meditate, and it kind of energizes your mind, gives you visions, gives you spiritual insight. Well, interestingly, the Vatican built a chapel. It's called the Chapel of the Holy Cross. It's one of the vortex sites in Arizona, and they built it probably 50 years before the New Age movement started. And it's right up there. I went up there. I did a little commentary up there. It's probably the one that all the New Agers say is the premier location for soul projection. If you want
soul projection, what is that?
It means that if you can sit up there and, you know, cross-legged, meditate, whatever, that you can leave your mind.
I would add another element to that idea, and that is that not every time but more often than not, you're also going to find the presence of the Catholic Church, the presence of Rome, in some way, shape, or form. And when I say the presence of Rome, I don't mean, there's some megaliths outside of this town, and there's a Catholic Church in the town. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about there's some megaliths outside the town, and there's a Catholic Church on top of them, or right next to them, or over the access ways to gain access into what's beneath them. So that has definitely proven to be true. Whether it's Italy, whether it's Malta, whether it's Peru, this is what we found. And so we understand that there's an obvious desire by the Church of Rome, especially when we talk about the medieval Church of Rome and the Church of Rome through the Renaissance. There was a desire to conquer the pagan religions, to conquer the pagan peoples, and to plant the flag of the Holy See wherever they went. So if they conquered a nation, such as a people group such as the Inca, then their modus operandi would be to locate their most holy sites and to dominate those sites, to take them over, to desecrate them, to build a church and plant the dominion, the flag of the Holy See, the flag of Rome, the Church of Rome, the dominion of the Holy See. That's obviously in play, and that's obviously a factor that we have to consider. But whether intentional or not, what has happened is that in doing this, the Roman Catholic Church has also inherited, or I should say, has taken over a lot of these very ancient, very important archaeological sites merely by having a presence there, and not just a presence, a dominating presence, because we have to remember who wrote the majority of history. It was the Catholic Church. So if you go around the world and you look at a lot of these archaeological sites, especially the megalithic sites, you're going to discover that the primary archaeologists that were involved in excavating these sites, in many cases, were Jesuits, or if not Jesuits, were affiliates of the Roman Catholic Church. If they themselves were not priests, they were affiliates with the Church. The Church has had an invested interest for many, many decades, for many centuries, in locating and controlling these ancient archaeological sites. And many of the places that they ended up putting their churches, or their cathedrals, their monasteries, their community buildings, happened to be sitting right on top of ancient pagan temples. And again, because it's a show of dominance, but at the same time, they have been controlling some of the gateways into the underground network.